Free wood there, boyo. What do these three have in common? They all start with shit wood. That's why I'm inspecting these two wrecked boats. But Blacktail uses black walnut slabs, man. That's not shit. Okay, you're right. Then quirky wood. But they always build something lush out of it. It's like a formula.
Someone's come and got a load. But yeah, really there's just nothing left without nails in it.
Look, I'm not following. Jesper's using pallets. Justin's using driftwood. I get that part. But Cam's buying the best stuff. Do me a favour, dude, and go back to his earlier videos. He'll explain explicitly how he doesn't pick the pristine slabs, but instead gets the cracked, quirky bits.
Too late.
So, what are you doing by ear? I'm going to put their formula to the test. Look, nature's ragged bits give Cam's pieces added beauty, and no one would think to write "E-pal" on the side of a coffee table, would they? But it works if that's how the wood came.
So there we have it.
Enough of this daft conversation. But seriously, I'm going to try this out. I think the more random the timber source, the more creative you have to become. I'm going to take this piece of wood and build something for a home. For some added constraints, I decided I have to incorporate the copper nails and include the eyeball in the final piece. Now, it has to be practical and it's got to be beautiful, or else it's going on the fire. And most importantly, my wife has to like it. Really like it, or else it's going on the fire. After nearly a year's worth of dreaming up ideas, I'm back on holiday where I found it.
Okay.
I made the first cut. Yep, I bring a chainsaw on every holiday that doesn't include crossing a border. My family are quite used to it now. Unfortunately at this stage though, I've never dressed a chainsaw bar before, and so despite the cutters being reasonably sharp, the wonky bar rails are curving this cut until it jams. I've since learnt the wonders of bar dressing, but for now, a freehand cut finishes it off. Okay, back home in my garage. Just time to sort out the bottom there, get rid of the screw that was in here. Couldn't really think of a better way than sort of just digging out. This is so full of bits of metal and everything. Yeah, you ran over your power cord, have you, bet? Oh, pipe down, will you? Yes, well, that was a long time ago, and it works just fine. Okay, as you can see on the back edge of this piece, it's just absolutely black. It's kind of like bog oak, but oil oak, I think. It's just full of oil, I guess. But at least there was some parts where you could see the wood coming through nicely.
Oh, look at that. I'm going to get something nice in here.
I'm easily excited, aren't I? Okay, I'm making a jig here for my router. If I was really good with chisels, I wouldn't need to do this. I could just carve in a nice slot. But I wanted to get it really neat, and so I came up with this sort of idea of a slidey platform. And the idea is that I could route in a pouch or a kind of pocket into the top of this wood there that would be horizontal. Now, I bought really cheap router bits from Amazon, and yes, the cutters are actually wider than the bearing. So I only have one pass on the outermost edge to get it right. But luckily it sort of comes off alright, and it's just a case of dismounting the jig, all of it made with tape and super glue. Okay, quick shot of stuff going in the bin, and then off outside to cut the end off. And I really had this idea of kind of a bit like a stern of a ship. I don't know, maybe I'm being too arty, but something sloping in, but it wasn't enough, so I went back for some more.
I'll measure once, cut twice.
I think I've got that old proverb the wrong way around there, haven't I? But time to take off the paint, and I was just really keen to see, was it going to be black and oily underneath, or was there actually going to be something nice under here? This tool's pretty fast at getting most of it off, but I borrowed this from a friend, and wow, I've really got to invest in one of these things. Thanks, Dan. This thing absolutely munched through it and left a really good, well, not good finish, but sped me up a lot before going on to the random orbital. At this stage I was getting really quite excited. It's just, yes, of course there's some black stains in there, there's a lot of them, there's the oil just seeping through as I get deeper into the wood, but it's really obvious that it's oak, and so yeah, it's going to be nice. These nails, I carried these around in my coat pocket for best part of half a year, I guess. I'm just thinking every time I went on a little walk, how can I incorporate these into the design? I reckon they'd add a cool feature, but couldn't think of anything good to do with them. Anyway, giving them a bit of a clear up, I could start to think, how could I use them? Cat's come to inspect, and here they are. I tried everywhere around it. I just round the eyeball at the front of the shelf, just trying different combinations like an Adidas strip, Adidas, whatever you say, and then came to this idea of kind of using them a bit like people use bow ties to hold cracks together. The trouble is, doing it freehand, you can see that one of them is wonky. So the good thing with a piece of wood that's covered in oil is, well, you can't see it yet. You'll see later on how we can blend that in quite nicely. I've never used this stuff before, but it came with good recommendation as being a really easy way to fill cracks and stuff. And it's not nearly as hard as black epoxy. I know I'm using oak here, so black epoxy would have been fine, but it's pretty easy to use. I didn't realise that at this depth it takes about a week to cure. So bear that in mind before using it. Now for clearing up the end. I just wasn't really happy with the rugged end that was already there, so I went back and took another pass.
So as I told you before, measure once, cut twice. Such an idiot.
I have to say I was a bit apprehensive about sanding a silicone, but as you can see here, it sands really easily. You were right, brother. Thanks very much. I made this cardboard template so that the holes that I drill in the wall, the markings for them, can be directly transferred to the sides of the shelf. Bit of a faff, but it meant that I could line up everything perfectly. Next, I wanted to take these direct frame fixings, take the heads of them down to about 10 millimeters so that they would stick into the shelf. Do you remember those sparks as a kid? Good memories of those. Then I drilled the corresponding holes in the wood. One last thing before I let you go, boy. What do you actually know about creativity? You're just doing this for likes and clicks, aren't you? Validation and all that. You're right, I do want something out of this. But it's not subscription and likes and things like that. If someone watching this goes out and finds a scrappy piece of wood, dreams about it for a while and gets in their happy place, then that's what I'm really after.
Bingo!
Hey. That looks so nice, Ben.
Back to my point at the beginning. Would I ever have made a shelf like this if I just bought the wood in a store? Hell no. I'm not saying it's good, but it's certainly different, isn't it?